Daily English Conversation. Introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Emily Chen. I'm 28 years old, and I live in Toronto, Canada. I work as a digital marketing specialist, focusing on social media strategies and brand development. I love working in diverse teams and have experience in multicultural environments. In my free time, I enjoy hiking and photography. Exploring new places always inspires me. I'm also passionate about tech innovations and digital trends. Looking forward to meeting all of you and exchanging ideas.
Hello, I'm Ahmed Al Farsi, originally from Dubai, UAE. I'm 32 years old and work as a civil engineer, specializing in large-scale infrastructure projects. I've been fortunate to work in several international projects, including a bridge construction in London. Outside of work, I enjoy playing soccer and exploring modern architecture. I also have a deep interest in sustainable building practices and how technology can reshape the future of construction. I'm excited to learn more about other cultures and discuss global trends in engineering with all of you.
Buongiorno, I'm Sofia Rossi from Milan, Italy. I'm 26 years old and I'm a graphic designer. I specialize in digital art and branding, often incorporating Italian heritage into my designs. I love mixing modern design with traditional Italian styles, and I've worked with several fashion brands in Milan. Outside of work, I'm passionate about art history, cooking, and wine tasting. I believe design is all about creating experiences, and I'm eager to hear about the creative projects you all are working on.
Hola, everyone. My name is Javier. I'm from Madrid, Spain, and I'm a linguist with a focus on bilingual education. I've spent the past few years working on language acquisition projects in schools across Europe, helping children from different backgrounds learn multiple languages. I'm particularly interested in how language shapes our cultural identity. In my free time, I'm an avid reader of Spanish literature, and I also enjoy playing classical guitar. I'm excited to exchange ideas and learn about the diverse ways language is taught around the world.
Hello, my name is Keiko Nakamura, and I'm from Tokyo, Japan. I'm 40 years old, and I work as an education consultant. I've spent many years helping schools in Japan and abroad adopt innovative teaching methods. I believe that education should be about fostering critical thinking and creativity. Outside of work, I'm passionate about traditional Japanese tea ceremonies and Zen meditation. I've traveled to several countries to learn how different cultures approach education, and I'm very interested in hearing about your experiences as well.
Hi, I'm Raj Patel, and I'm from Mumbai, India. I'm 34 years old, and I'm an entrepreneur in the tech industry. I co-founded a startup that uses artificial intelligence to enhance healthcare services in rural areas. I'm passionate about using technology to solve real-world problems and improve people's lives. When I'm not working, I enjoy traveling and meeting people from different walks of life. I also volunteer for NGOs that support education for underprivileged children in India. I'm looking forward to connecting with you all and discussing how we can drive positive change through technology.
What's your favorite hobby? And how did you get into it? My favorite hobby is hiking. I've always loved being outdoors, and living in Canada, there are so many beautiful trails to explore. I got into hiking when I moved to Vancouver for college and joined a hiking group to meet new people. It became a passion ever since.
My favorite hobby is playing soccer. Growing up in Dubai, soccer was always a big part of our culture. I started playing with my friends when I was 10, and it's been my go-to activity ever since. It keeps me fit and connects me to the community.
I love photography. I was inspired by my grandfather, who was a professional photographer. He used to take me on photo walks, showing me how to capture the beauty of everyday life. It became a way for me to express myself and appreciate the world around me.
My favorite hobby is reading, especially Spanish literature. I was introduced to it by my grandmother, who was a teacher. She would read aloud to me, and I've been hooked ever since. It's a great way for me to relax and explore new ideas.
I enjoy practicing tea ceremonies. It's a tradition I've always admired, and I've been learning it since I was a teenager. The mindfulness and precision involved in the practice are deeply calming and allow me to appreciate the present moment.
I love traveling and exploring new cultures. Growing up in India, I was always curious about the diversity around me. Traveling not only satisfies my curiosity, but also inspires new ideas for my business and personal growth.
What's the most interesting place you've ever traveled to, and what made it? The most interesting place I've ever traveled to is Kyoto, Japan. The blend of traditional culture and modern life there is incredible. I visited many ancient temples, and the tranquility of the gardens left a lasting impression on me. Plus, the food was amazing.
The most interesting place I've visited is Tokyo, Japan. The city's technological advancements were mind-blowing, but what stood out to me the most was the perfect balance between tradition and innovation. It was fascinating to see ancient shrines beside futuristic skyscrapers.
The most interesting place I've been to is Venice, Italy. The city's romantic canals and historical architecture are breathtaking. I remember walking along the streets, taking photos, and feeling like I was in a painting. Venice has such a magical atmosphere.
The most interesting place I have traveled to is Barcelona, Spain. The city's architecture, especially S-work, is beyond imagination. The way the buildings seem to come alive with organic shapes and colors was something I'd never seen before, and it inspired me to learn more about art and design.
The most interesting place I've visited is the ancient city of Nara, Japan. It's home to some of the oldest temples in Japan, and there are free-roaming deer that you can interact with. It felt like stepping back in time, and the peacefulness of the place was unforgettable.
The most interesting place I've ever traveled to is Iceland. The landscapes there are otherworldly, the volcanic mountains, glaciers, and hot springs. It felt like a place where nature was still in charge, and it inspired me to think about sustainability in a whole new way.
What's something you love about your job, and what's one challenge you face? I love the creative aspect of my job, especially coming up with innovative social media campaigns. I get to collaborate with so many talented people, which keeps things exciting. One challenge I face is staying on top of constantly changing digital trends, but I enjoy the challenge of adapting quickly.
I really enjoy seeing the physical results of my work as a civil engineer. Watching a project go from concept to completion is incredibly rewarding. However, managing time and meeting deadlines can be challenging, especially when working with large teams and complex projects.
What I love about my job is that I get to combine my passion for design with my creativity. It's fulfilling to see my designs come to life and make a real impact. A challenge I face is balancing client expectations with my own artistic vision, but I've learned to communicate effectively to find a middle ground.
I love the intellectual stimulation that comes with being a linguist. I'm always learning about new languages and cultures, which makes my job dynamic and exciting. A challenge I face is the lack of resources in some areas where bilingual education is not prioritized. But I'm working to change that.
I love working with educators to help improve teaching methods. It's incredibly fulfilling to see students and teachers benefit from innovative techniques. However, one challenge I face is overcoming resistance to change, especially when schools are used to traditional methods.
What I love most about my job is the impact it has on people's lives. My startup helps improve healthcare services in rural areas, and seeing the positive outcomes of our technology is truly rewarding. The challenge is balancing rapid growth with quality control, as we're still a small team.
What's one thing on your bucket list that you hope to accomplish soon? One thing on my bucket list is to hike the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I plan to go in the next few years. The idea of combining adventure and history excites me.
One thing on my bucket list is to visit all 7 continents. I've already been to Europe, Asia, and Africa, and I'd love to experience the culture and landscapes of South America, Antarctica, and Australia.
I've always wanted to learn how to make Venetian glass. It's an art form I've admired for years, and I hope to take a workshop there to learn the traditional techniques. It's on my bucket list, and I plan to do it soon.
One thing I'd love to do is write a book on language and cultural identity. I've been gathering ideas for years, and I think now is the time to start. I hope to get it published in the near future.
I'd like to visit all the UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Japan. There are so many beautiful and historically significant places that I want to explore, and it would be a meaningful way to connect with my country's rich culture.
One thing on my bucket list is to run a marathon in New York City. I've been training for it for a while, and it's something I've always wanted to do. It would be a great challenge and a personal achievement.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be and how would you use it? I'd love to have the ability to teleport. I could visit any place in the world instantly, which would be amazing for both work and leisure, plus, no more long flights.
I'd choose the ability to manipulate time. Imagine being able to pause or rewind time. I could accomplish so much more, and it would be fun to relive certain moments or prevent mistakes.
I'd love to have the power to communicate with animals. It would be fascinating to understand what they're thinking and make a deeper connection with the natural world.
I'd love to have the power of telepathy. Being able to understand people's thoughts directly would make communication so much more efficient, and it would help me understand different perspectives more deeply.
I think I'd love the ability to read people's emotions. It would make me a better educator as I could understand exactly what my students need and how they're feeling.
I choose the power of superintelligence. I'd love to be able to solve complex problems quickly, especially in technology and healthcare. It would help me innovate and make a larger impact in the world.
What's a dream or goal you've had since childhood, and how has it evolved over the years? Growing up, I always dreamed of becoming a writer. I remember spending hours writing stories about imaginary characters and dreaming up their lives. But as I got older, I started learning more about the business world, especially marketing, and my interests began to shift. Now, instead of writing fiction, I tell stories in a different way by helping brands connect with people. Marketing allows me to use my creativity to shape a brand's story, which is kind of like modern-day storytelling. My childhood dream didn't vanish. It just transformed into something that aligns with who I am today, and I absolutely love it.
When I was a kid, I dreamed of being an inventor, creating machines to solve everyday problems. As I grew up, I realized engineering could make that dream a reality. Now, as a civil engineer, I get to work on projects that improve infrastructure, which makes life easier for many. It's not inventing gadgets, but it's fulfilling to know my work has a real impact.
My dream was always to become a doctor. Since I was young, I admired doctors' ability to heal and comfort people. Over time, I realized it's about more than just treating symptoms. It's about listening, empathizing, and connecting with patients on a human level. My dream hasn't changed, but my understanding of what it means to be a doctor has deepened.
As a kid, I dreamed of traveling the world, seeing new places, and meeting new people. I'm still passionate about travel, but I've found a balance by working in tech. It allows me to work remotely, giving me the freedom to explore. My childhood dream didn't fade. It just took on a new shape with my career.
My dream was to study cultures and bring different people together. Growing up in Cairo, I was fascinated by diverse perspectives and languages. Now, as a cultural researcher, I'm fulfilling that dream. I help bridge cultural gaps, creating understanding between communities. My dream evolved into a career that promotes unity and respect.
I always dreamed of creating worlds and stories that people could explore. I was fascinated by video games as a kid, and that fascination led me to game design. Now, I design games that allow people to dive into these worlds. My childhood dream stayed with me, But now I see it as creating experiences, not just games.
Can you share a life-changing experience or challenge that helped shape who you are today? A major turning point was studying abroad in Europe for a year. I was away from home and everything familiar, but I learned to adapt, communicate in different languages, and appreciate new perspectives. That experience taught me resilience, independence, and the value of stepping out of my comfort zone. It's a reminder that change brings growth.
Moving to the US for college was life-changing. Leaving behind my family and culture to study engineering was tough. Language barriers and challenging courses made it harder, but pushing through those obstacles taught me resilience. That experience shaped my determination and showed me I could thrive even when things get tough.
One of the most defining experiences was my first year as a medical resident. Facing patients in critical conditions, seeing families worry, it was emotionally exhausting. But it taught me empathy and the power of small gestures. Those moments reshaped my approach, reminding me of why I wanted to be a doctor in the first place.
In my final year of university, I failed a major exam that put my degree at risk. It was a wake-up call to reevaluate my priorities. I learned discipline, developed better study habits, and passed my retakes with flying colors. That experience taught me that setbacks don't define you. It's how you respond to them.
Working with refugees during my early career was a turning point. Hearing their stories of survival and resilience made me realize the importance of understanding and empathy. It changed my view on life, and I'm now dedicated to promoting cultural understanding. Their courage inspires me in everything I do.
I had a challenging project early in my career where I worked with a team of international designers. Communication was difficult, and there were cultural differences, but working through it taught me patience and how to collaborate effectively. Now I see those challenges as opportunities to learn and connect with others.
If someone were to visit your hometown, what's the one thing they absolutely must see or experience to understand the culture? Toronto is known for its diversity, so I'd say a visit to Kensington Market is a must. You'll find foods and cultures from around the world, all in one neighborhood. It's a vibrant, colorful area that shows how multicultural Toronto really is, plus, the food is incredible.
If you're in Mexico City, I'd suggest experiencing the Day of the Dead festival. It's not just a holiday, it's a celebration of life, family, and honoring those who've passed. The colorful decorations, altars, and traditions show the deep cultural respect we have for our loved ones and life itself.
Mumbai's Ganesh Chaturthi festival is something everyone should see. For 10 days, the city comes alive with music, dance, and beautiful decorations. It's a unique experience that shows the unity and joy of our culture. During that time, you can feel the spirit of Mumbai everywhere.
In Dublin, I'd take you to a traditional pub, like O'Donoghue's. It's not just about the drinks. It's about the live Irish music and the atmosphere. Locals sing, share stories, and there's a warmth that you won't find anywhere else. It's a true taste of Irish culture and community.
In Cairo, a Nile River boat ride at sunset is a must. The river is central to Egypt's history and culture. Watching the city lights along the banks as the sun sets gives you a glimpse of Cairo's beauty and its deep connection to the river that has sustained it for centuries.
Tokyo's Tsukiji Fish Market is an experience like no other. Even though it's busy and bustling, it shows the dedication and passion that goes into Japanese food. Plus, you get to taste the freshest sushi. It's a place where you can see tradition and craftsmanship firsthand.
Do you have any unique daily rituals or habits that help you start or end your day? Every morning, I start with journaling for a few minutes. It helps me organize my thoughts, set intentions, and clear my mind for the day ahead. I feel more focused and calm after writing down my thoughts, and it's a great way to reflect on what matters most to me.
I start my day with a quick exercise routine and then have a strong cup of Mexican coffee. It's a small routine, but it gets me energized and ready to tackle the day. I also call my family back in Mexico at night, which keeps me grounded and connected to home.
I always start my day with meditation. Just a few minutes of deep breathing and mindfulness keeps me centered, especially when I know I have a long day at the hospital. It's a habit that helps me focus and stay present, no matter how hectic things get.
I take a morning walk around Dublin, rain or shine. Being outside in the fresh air, even for just 10 minutes, clears my head and helps me feel prepared. At night, I unwind with some light reading, which helps me relax and end the day peacefully.
In the morning, I enjoy a cup of Egyptian tea while listening to classic Arabic music. It's a simple ritual, but it reminds me of my roots and calms me before a busy day. In the evening, I like to read poetry or listen to stories that deepen my cultural understanding.
Every evening, I dedicate some time to drawing or sketching ideas for games. It's a way to relax and think creatively without pressure. Working in game design, it's easy to get caught up in the digital world, so doing something with pen and paper brings a sense of balance.
If you could learn any new skill or take up a new hobby, what would it be and why? I'd love to learn photography. There's something fascinating about capturing moments and seeing the world through a different lens. I think it would help me develop my creative side even further and maybe even enhance my marketing skills by understanding visual storytelling.
I've always wanted to learn how to play the guitar. Music has been a big part of my life, but I never learned an instrument. Playing the guitar seems like a great way to unwind and express myself, and it would be nice to share music with family and friends.
Pottery is something I'd love to try. I spend so much time in a clinical environment that it would be refreshing to work with my hands in a creative way. The process of shaping clay into something unique seems both calming and rewarding.
I'd like to learn woodworking. Creating something with your hands, especially something functional, has always intrigued me. It feels like a skill that would be both rewarding and relaxing. Plus, there's something satisfying about seeing a project through from start to finish.
I've always wanted to learn how to dance, specifically traditional Egyptian dance. It's a beautiful way of expressing emotion and culture through movement. I think it would be a great way to connect more deeply with my heritage and also have fun while staying active.
I would love to learn how to cook better, especially traditional Japanese dishes. Growing up, my grandmother taught me a few recipes, but I wish I had learned more from her. Cooking is a great way to connect with people, and there's a sense of satisfaction in preparing food with love and care.
That's all for today's video on how to introduce yourself in English. I hope you found these tips and sentences helpful in building your own perfect self-introduction. Remember, the key is to keep it natural and confident while showcasing your personality. And if you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more English learning tips, and leave a comment sharing your own self-introduction. I'd love to hear how you present yourself in English. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.